for me, got into all that stick seat, but I was like, okay, now I got to get all this off. Or think about a hot iron. You see yourself once, it hurts, but then you start to heal and you can go back to it. And after a while of getting seared, you really get calluses and it doesn't hurt anymore. And you just go off. This is the work of those that turn aside. And it starts with little things. Say no to the Lord, even just the little things. And then verse 4 says, a froward heart shall depart from me. A froward heart is like habitually disobedient heart or a unyielding heart. This person who lives like this, David's saying, I'm not going to actually spend time with this person. Actually, this kind of person is sometimes really a fun person to be around because sometimes this habitually disobedient person is actually someone who says inappropriate things and makes fun of things that aren't really good, things that they know is wrong. Sometimes it's actually a believer. And so David's saying, you know what? Even this person, I'm not gonna spend time around him. It goes back to verse 2. Oh, when wilt thou come unto me? I want a clean life. Then continuing in verse 4, I will not know a wicked person. And gotta be careful because obviously we all know wicked people. Neighbors, we go out sowing in his wickedness, but we actually do get to know them and we give them the gospel. We study the life of Ahab in the Bible and to know how to not live like them. We don't study Ahab to see wow, how did you succeed and do what you did. No, we wouldn't do that. Same with candidates for president. We have to know who they are, know who to vote for, who not to vote for. But verse that really, a couple verses, sobering verses that helps with this to kind of explain would be Jude 22 and 23. We don't it's not a thing where we don't talk to people, but there is a carefulness. We're going to convert them to the Lord. It's starting in verse 22, and of some have compassion, making a difference, and others save with fear, pulling them out of the fire. Notice this, hating even the garment spotted by the flesh. It is just that carefulness. And then continuing on, verse 5. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. And whenever I think of, especially the last part of that verse, a high look and a proud heart, we see a lot of pride in our day. And just watch a professional sports game, and you see it wow. There would have been a few years back now, for a while, I watched, with my family, we would watch the football, NFL. And it was fun, but just, you can see the pride. And God says that is an abomination to him. And just that carefulness, it says, will not I suffer, which means I'm not going to tolerate this person. I'm not going to allow this person. And if you never watched professional sports, all you have to do is watch kids on the playground. They've watched the professional sports so long that they know just how to mimic them. They know how to make the same face, that same, I don't know how they do it. And then the same moves as they really show off, and it's it's not right. And thinking about the last part of verse 4 and the last part of verse 5, I will not know a wicked person, and him that hath an high look and a proud heart will not I suffer. Even sports aren't bad, not at all, actually. In fact, I think if I got this right, sports were brought in for the purpose of helping young men train and actually get stronger, faster. They'd play certain games to really increase their abilities for war in times of peace. If I got that right, things along those lines, that's what sports are for. But just on that, really sometimes the professional sports and some of that is it's hurtful enough to the extent where it leaves a young man mimicking all that. Honestly, I kind of like some of the guys as I watched the football, and then as I started to realize that, you know what, some of these people are really, really wicked people, and I'm getting to know how tall this guy is, how his achievements, and I'm liking this person. And the Bible says, I will not know a wicked person. It's just something to really consider and take thought to. And it all goes back to what he said in the beginning, "O when wilt thou come unto me?" Then in verse 6, we won't get through the rest of the verses, but we'll get to verse 6. And actually, verse 7 and 8 actually go back to saying things that he won't do, people in his kingly position that he's actually going to be cutting off. And instead of that, as believers today, we don't have that. We're not Israel anymore. So we don't have that law of Moses saying to cut off these certain people. We'd actually instead pray for these people and give them the gospel instead. But verse 6, mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land, that they may dwell with me. It's interesting, he says, mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land. His eyes. A little bit ago, he had said, I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. And in a little bit, in verse 7, he says, he that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. But instead he says, mine eyes shall be upon the faithful of the land. And these faithful, today we would call them believers, Christians. This is really the people he wants to be around. And they will dwell with me. These are the people he's actually going to have come into his house, his palace, sit down, have a meal. You can tell a king by who he spends his time with. And he that walketh in a perfect way, he shall serve me. And obviously, he is a king. That would have been a great privilege for them to come into the palace and serve the king. Now, today, we together, we come and we serve the Lord. Just think about, a couple days ago, it was neat to see, everyone here and doing VBS and serving the Lord in ministry, and then soul winning and all the other things that go on in the church. That's really where it's at. And think about the verse, and so much the more as we see the day approaching. I think even as time goes along and as things get worse, whether it's the wickedness or even persecution, we're going to want to spend that time together and building each other up, serving the Lord together. And that's as far as I'm going to get through these verses. But just taking a quick look back there at verse 1 and 2. David saw, and you remembered, what the Lord had done for him. He was singing of mercy and judgment. He was singing to the Lord. Our eyes have to be on the Lord to really get these things right. And then his eyes